Join me as I take on the challenge of catching a big fish using only the tips from this beginner's guide. Fishing is one of those activities that's often thought to be reserved for the pros, but I'm here to tell you that's just not true. With the right mindset and a few simple tips, anyone can catch a big fish and experience the thrill of reeling it in. When I first started fishing, I was overwhelmed by all the unknowns. Where do I even start? What equipment do I need? Where are the best fishing spots? These are just a few of the questions that'll likely be running through your mind if you're new to fishing. And let me tell you, it's normal to feel that way. But the good news is that with a little patience and practice, you'll be catching fish in no time. One of the biggest challenges beginners face is a river or the ocean. Do you need a boat, or can you fish from the shore? The answer is, it depends. Each type of fishing has its own unique set of rules and techniques, and it's essential to understand what those are before you start. Another challenge is choosing the right equipment. There are so many different types of rods, reels, and lures out there, it can be overwhelming. Do you go for the cheap option, or do you invest in something a bit more pricey? What type of bait should you use? These are all essential questions, and getting the right answers can make all the difference. But don't stress too much on that you don't need the most expensive equipment. Choosing the right gear is crucial, but it's not the only thing that matters. You also need to know how to use it. That means learning how to cast, how to tie knots, and how to set hooks. It might seem like a lot to learn, but trust me, it's worth it. Oh, by the way, if you are enjoying the information so far, don't be shy and subscribe to this channel and check out the other videos that cover equipment or setups. Let's talk about the gear you'll need to get started. First, you'll need a rod and reel combo that's suitable for the type of fishing you want to do. If you're fishing in freshwater, you'll want a lightweight rod with a spinning reel. If you're fishing in saltwater, you'll want something a bit more heavy-duty. Next, you'll need some line and some lures. The type of lures you choose will depend on the type of fish you're after, but as a beginner, it's a good idea to start with something simple like a spinnerbait or a soft plastic lure. When it comes to choosing the best fishing spots, there are a few things to keep in mind. Look for areas with structure like rocks, weeds, or sunken logs. These areas tend to attract fish, and they can be a great place to start. You should also consider the time of day and the weather. Fish are often more active in the early morning and late evening, and they tend to seek shelter in bad weather. One of the most effective baits for attracting big fish is live bait. This can be anything from worms to minnows to crickets, and it's often more effective than artificial lures. The key is to present the bait in a natural way so the fish don't get spooked. I honestly just use a worm, and I still catch the big ones. But remember last video, if you've seen it, then you know the right hook and sinker makes all the difference. I'll never forget the first time I caught a big fish. It was a beautiful summer day, and I was fishing on a lake with my dad, watching the sun go down. I remember feeling the tug on the line, and my heart racing as I reeled it in. It was a huge bass, and I was hooked, no pun intended. From that day on, I was addicted to fishing, and I've been chasing that rush ever since. 25 years later, and here I am, hoping to share my passion with you. And hopefully, you can find the joy of fishing and maybe one day teach your kids. The techniques I used to catch that fish were simple but effective. I was using a spinner bait in an area with a lot of structure, and I was presenting it in a natural way. I wasn't doing anything fancy, but it worked, and it's a technique that I still use to this day. The key to catching big fish is to be patient, persistent, and willing to learn. Don't get discouraged if you don't catch anything right away. Keep trying, and eventually you'll land that big one. So there you have it, folks. That's my ultimate beginner's guide to catching big fish. It's not rocket science, but it does take a little practice and patience. Remember, the most important thing is to have fun and enjoy the experience. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to comment below with your own fishing stories or tips. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more videos on fishing techniques and more. My name is Brandon, and you're watching Fishing Made Simple. Happy fishing, and catch you later. Chew.